Alrighty, people, welcome in another day, another opportunity to talk Dynasty football. It is the 21st of February at 11:11 a.m. where we are. And where you guys are, it is the 20th of February. Future looks pretty good, so don't worry. Tomorrow's going to be a good day. At least it is so far for us. And hopefully today's stream makes it a little bit better. A little bit of news. This is a stream where we're primarily going to focus on the people who have supported us on the Flock site. We're going to be doing some team reviews and excited to kind of craft some trades and give some people some direction moving forward with their team. But before we get to that, just want to talk about what I've seen in the NFL draft space recently, which is this report from Daniel Jeremiah, which I love because I've kind of been defending Colson Loveland as a tight end one. I feel like I've been on my own in the space. I'm sure, well, look, that's not the case. There obviously are people out there, right, who have Loveland tight end one. I have them very close. I love both Warren and Loveland. But it was cool to see this from Daniel Jeremiah, where he said, I think some teams are going to have him as a top tight end, talking about Colson Loveland. And again, I think that just goes back to traits. Like, it is not, like, production is not really reflective of what, predictive rather, of what a tight end's probably going to do at the next level, right? So that was pretty cool to see. Very happy to see that. We had some other news, like on the Titans. He hasn't heard much buzz about the number one pick being moved. We also saw news of the Rams. If they are going to trade Matthew Stafford, they want a first-round pick. I would be surprised if they get a first-round pick for Stafford. Obviously, he's worth it, but at his age, I don't know that someone's willing to do that.
Unless Matthew Stafford, 34? 20
what a team would have to have is, like, they would have to have Matthew Stafford in he's 37. Oh my gosh. They'd have to have Stafford, like, verbally say, like, I want to play for the next 3 years. I'm guaranteeing that. And even then, it's like, do you spend a first round pick on that?
There's no way.
I don't know about that.
I don't think any team is going to spend a first, personally.
The other news is that Jamar Chase is going to command at least $40 million per year, which it's honestly, the Bengals should have signed him last offseason. I mean, it was the time to do it. Now it's going to cost them their entire lineage of children to get a deal done. So that's unfortunate. But that is the latest over there on the NFL draft news. We appreciate y'all for being here with us. What's up, Brizzleton? Yeah. Welcome in. Faulty's here. Styles in the building. What's up, Dylan? He says it's 4:11. You must be on the West Coast then, which I love to see. What's up, Trippy? What's up, Kyle? Welcome in, gang. Welcome in. It's great to have you guys here. Be a friend. Hit that like button as today's stream begins. Again, today's stream is going to be primarily focused on helping people build better Dynasty teams. Now, we do have quite a few teams that we are reviewing tonight. I do want to say out there, if you guys are, if anyone out there is watching this and your username is Hap, or John Perry, and we know John Perry, he's been with us for a hot minute. You guys currently have the offline versions of the team playbook, and typically we wouldn't mind. We'd be fine to kind of just give you that live review, but you can see the queue is a little bit built up today, which is great. Appreciate the support from everyone, but it also means that the demand is there that we probably focus on doing the live ones live, the people who purchase the live ones. So if you're out there and you want your team reviewed today, Hap or John Perry, just go on the Flock site, submit a $10 super chat, which for you will be even cheaper, right? And then we will get your team review today live. Otherwise, we'll do it offline over the weekend if you prefer it that way. Because sometimes, obviously, people purposely choose the offline review because they don't really care about it being live. What's up, Kyle? Says, how can I hop into getting a roster review? So yes, very simple, my friend. The best way to do that, and you actually gave me the perfect segue here before we get into these reviews, is by becoming a annual Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. All right, you get your team playbook, right, which will be completely customized, to everything that we talk about on the stream if you get the live version, right? But customized trade targets, understanding the positional priorities based off the settings in your Dynasty League. The chalkboard will be chalked full of what to do with your draft capital and information like that. And, of course, you get the live review with it if you purchase the live review tier. You also get a free trade question voucher on the Flock Fantasy website, all the premium tools on the Flock site, the rankings, the databases, the draft guides, and then you also get our 2025 rookie report, which has incredible feedback so far. I'm very, very proud of what we were able to put together. I believe it's the best report in the industry for the Dynasty rookie class. And again, you get all that when you become a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. The other option is if you're on a different promo code, let's say you're supporting Flock, for example, then you can actually go to the Flock store. I'll put a direct link in the chat for you there, but when you go on the website, it's just in the top right. You can see the Flock store there. And then you would click team review here. If you haven't linked up your team, you can do that. Sleeper, ESPN, or Yahoo. If you're on an MFL league, you can leave your league ID in the comment section when you upload and leave screenshots. But assuming you're able to synchronize, hit continue with whatever league you want to choose. Click your team. Make sure your draft picks are correct. If they're not, you can change it. Then you'll see Zach and Badaki here from Fantasyland. Again, that baseline is an offline review. It's just $10 more to prioritize your team review live. And again, the reason we really do that is mainly because of demand. And if the demand isn't there, we're happy to do like an offline review live. But if it is there, then like today, for example, the demand is there. Right. So that is how you can get it done. I would suggest becoming a yearly annual Mother Flocker member. But that is me. What's up, Albert? Welcome in, my friend. Great to have you here.
How you doing, brother?
JW says Dynastyland winning fantasy football and flocking people over since 2023. We love to see it, brother. We love to see it. Welcome in, my friend.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Again, appreciate y'all for being here. Hit that like button on today's stream to show some love. And shall we get started with Golfstallion?
Golfstallion, yes, we can. If you are here, let us know. If not, obviously you'll be getting a time clip or a link with the time stamp of this. But we appreciate you and thank you so much for the support. Let's dive straight into this. English is hard today, and that's okay. Positions are correct for this year. 2026 will go to a start 9 super flex. Wow, okay, that's good to know. I also have all my draft picks in 2027. I inherited this team at the end of last season, and this is my first Dynasty team. I love to explore all trades and targets and teams with no first-round picks to increase wealth. Thanks. Okay, so this is a 1 quarterback, 10-team start 8 half PPR, which you did mention is going to super flex next year and is going to start 9. So in reality, in next year's season, this is going to be a meat and potatoes lineup.
It's meat and potatoes right now. And
which is just going to meat and potatoes and superflex.
It will be just adding the superflex. Yeah, you're right. But I think we'll talk about that. We'll have different conversations and how to kind of plan for the future, but also not just completely forget about this year, depending on what your team looks like. His team name is started at the bottom, and
now you're here.
Now he's 7th. All right.
Now you're 7th out of 10th here. So
one of these teams looks like they are just absolutely dominating everybody else. And yes, this is that team. This is the Thanos of your league. Now you are currently ranked 7th, like we said. Go ahead. Looks like we got some work to do here. Go ahead and let's talk about this team.
You got some explaining to do. All right. At the quarterback position, Caleb Williams, Jared Goff, 2 with tags, and Russell Wilson. So look, the fact that this is transitioning to a Superflex league next year, you already have 2 other options and a good depth at the quarterback position. Probably not the guys we want to build around outside of Caleb, but still some good quarterbacks.
I almost wonder, Badaki, if we should and I know I'm jumping the gun a little bit here, but I wonder if we should try and strategically trade for quarterback upgrades because it won't cost as much maybe right now as it would
100%. If this league is not smart,
but anyway,
if this league is not as sharp, 100%, we should do that.
Yeah.
At the running back position, Trey Benson, Blake Corum, Jonathan Brooks. So you got the 1-2 punch last year, drafting Trey Benson, drafting Jonathan Brooks, thinking that these guys were going to be and have opportunity, and that was not the case, unfortunate. At the wide receiver position, Richie Rich, Xavier Worthy, George Pickens, Devontae Adams, and honestly, the list goes on. So not the strongest wide receiver room outside of your top 3, with essentially no tight end and Pat Frymuth and Jake Ferguson. But you do have 2 first-round picks in 25, a first-round pick in 26, and I think you did mention, you said you had all your picks in 27, so that is really good.
Yeah, I think this is a full rebuild still. I don't really think we're going to make 2 picks this year and say, we're pretty close next year. we still only have one pick in 26 and one pick in 27. So it's not like we have a treasure chest of draft capital as well that gives us flexibility year by year. I kind of lean towards full rebuild still with this team. And that probably includes like tearing down from the 102 if possible. But that's how I feel. I don't know how you feel. I mean, think about the starting lineup right now. It's right now without Superflex. It's maybe Goff, no starting running back yet. Then Rice might not even play much of the year. So is it Rice Worthy? Is it Rice Pickens? Pat Freiermuth, I guess. It's not a very strong lineup right now. I think those picks will help, but I still think we're a while away, especially considering this is a 10 team and it's a start 8, small starting lineup, small league, premium players are going to win your league. I think we're full rebuilding this if it was my team.
Yeah, and look, it just makes sense. I think you have some, Rice Worthy to kind of grow with, the Bensons and then the Blake Corms to grow with there. But yeah, there's not that many pieces that you can necessarily move forward with either. So like, yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah, 100%. So I would say full rebuild. If we're going to give this team a grade, I think honesty is why you guys come here, right? There's no point in me telling you, hey, your team is good, and then lying to you. I think the only way for us to make our Dynasty teams better is to be realistic and transparent. This is probably a D plus C minus range roster.
Yeah, that's where I was at. D plus.
Okay, let's go with that. As far as untouchables, that would be both of your future picks. As far as both of your first rounders, you don't want to move those. That would completely destroy your rebuild. I'd also say as far as holds go, Rashee Rice is going to be a great hold in a rebuild. Especially if he comes back and dominates the way that we believe that he could. Trey Benson, obviously, we're going to hold. There's no reason to sell him. And then, honestly, I would put both of these quarterbacks, like Tua in Superflex as a hold. He'll be more valuable next year because this league is transitioning into Superflex. And you could add, like, Marvin Mims there. He's got some pretty good steam. As far as drops, can drop to Marcus Robinson if you want to clear space. You can drop probably. I'd say like Alec Pierce. I'd probably drop over some of these other names, which I need to reassess rankings. But
I'm happy to drop Alec Pierce. I feel like in my order, I would just be okay to drop like Nick Westbrook-Ikini.
I was gonna say that, but he just was like producing last year, which was weird. And if they get a new quarterback, I'm just curious. But
sure,
I can definitely see both.
And ways. Draft capital, I'm assuming just it's nothing too special. You have all your firsts in the next couple of years, so I just put a B flat.
Yeah, he's got some premium picks this year, but not a big treasure chest of picks. Yeah. Okay, names that we can sell. I wouldn't sell any quarterbacks. And in fact, I don't even know that I want to tier up right now because we don't have the assets really to make a move like that. But I would say George Pickens, Devontae Adams are names that we can sell in the market right now. I don't feel like there's really... I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to selling Russell Wilson if he moves somewhere. Like, let's say he actually goes to Vegas like we're hearing. I wouldn't be opposed to that. But... again, so those trade away targets are obviously Devontae Adams. We talked about that. We talked about Russell Wilson. Who else did I say? George Pickens.
George Pickens.
I'm not really as worried about selling George Pickens as these other names. But he certainly, like, if you get the right value, you can move on from him. All right, let's go to your draft picks. If you stick and pick, you've got some options here. At the 102, it will really come down to preference and draft capital. Obviously, Tet McMillan is going to be available, but for both of these picks, if let's say you went Tet McMillan and then you came back and it was Travion Henderson and those are the players that you ended up with those picks, that's not a bad haul at all. You come back at the 202, it's a great class for running backs, and in fact, because it's a one quarterback league, that 202 is actually more valuable than we realized, right? 10-team league, that's really the 111 from a perspective of what players are going to be available. And that 302 becomes maybe a late second when you think about it. But, you know, there's a possibility you leave with McMillan and Henderson and shoot, maybe Loveland falls. I don't know, because that's technically the 111, you know. That's a pretty decent haul, honestly. You add Tet McMillan, you add Travion Henderson, you add Colson Loveland. That would be a great outcome for this team. Now, what I've been doing for teams in this position where they're clearly a rebuilder, but they are not really like a year away, and they don't have this huge amount of draft picks in the future, is trying to tier down from the 102, and we only tier down if we get the value that we believe it's worth, right? So in this example, we're trying to go from the 103 to the 107 plus a future first type of value. So shall we look at these teams? 103, you're probably not going to get a future first. Down at the 107, you probably are. It depends on the owner. It depends on the capital, right? I mean, Badaki, let's say in April, so Tet McMillan ends up with, like, I guess everyone really loves him to the Patriots. There's not really a lot of spots I love, honestly. But let's say he ends up with the Patriots, and then no other running back goes in round 1, and we don't get really a running back in round 2 or something, right? It's like all these round 3 running backs. Then you're 102, you'll be able to trade that maybe for a bigger premium than you can today.
Yeah.
So obviously it goes without saying, but we do have to say it. Only trade these picks if you get the value we're saying, right? Otherwise, it's just not worth it. You just want to hold. So let's see who has a 103 as an example.
103 is team 2.
And you're going to have a lot more power on the clock. These are where these deals actually happen. And where I convert these deals is on the clock. Last year, I'm on the clock at the 102. This team wants Marvin Harrison Jr. I love Malik Neighbors. I tear down from the 102 to the 104. I get a future first-round pick and Neighbors with that pick, right? But that happens on the clock. When people are like, oh my God, I could get Marvin here. It's actually possible. I love this player. I could get Tet here. It's possible. I love this player. So again, you only tier down from the pick if you get the value that we're going to suggest today to get. Now, at the 103, he has... Like, would you want to do like a quarterback, try and like maneuver the quarterback position here a little bit? I almost
definitely can.
I almost wonder if we go like a Stroud, because if they're valuing this right now as a one quarterback league, we could really do this. Add Stroud, we can add Tua, right? And then we can also see if we can get like the 110 on this. Like that kind of deal, I think moves it for me, because we're thinking from a super flex perspective. You know, thinking about how it's transitioning to another year.
Yeah, that makes sense. And once again, if your league is not sharp, golf, then that's probably the best move that you can make. Take advantage of some of these guys and be like, not necessarily realizing that this is going to be super flex. That they need Caleb Williams. They're still going to get a new quarterback in Tua. Or they're still going to have a QB2 just in case their quarterback goes down. So I definitely do like that trade for sure.
The other option is that we add like Devontae Adams into a deal like this. That's probably going to be the easiest way to sell him to a contender, but you get the 103 and a future first, right? And, you know, ideally 2027, but, you know, because we really love that class. But if it's 2026, that's not a big deal. So you tier down one spot, you get a future first-round pick, and you find a really easy way to sell Devontae Adams to a contender, right? I mean, that is the perfect way to move a Devontae Adams. I mean, you know your league best. Can you add the 210 onto that? Is that possible? If not, then, you know, you can start there, but you don't have to push the envelope if you don't think that's going to get done. I'm more than happy with this deal as constructed already. Shall we look at the 105? Because he has a 104, right?
All right, let's see, 105.
He has a 104, right? Yeah, okay. Let's see.
I'm popping up here.
105. I see the one. Let's start with the 107 because I see Young Legs has it. That's the last team, Team 10. So let's start with the 107 here. We'll get to the 105 as we find it. This is where you can really make an impact, I think. And this team definitely looks like a competing team. Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey, Tyrone Tracy, Metcalf, McLaurin, right? Kittle. I don't really want their 26 first-round pick. But what I would love in a deal like this is to target J.J. McCarthy, that 107, right? Like this is where I think we can really make a difference J.J. McCarthy. And again, if they're playing this from a one quarterback perspective, they're not really going to be thinking about this too much. He had Russell Wilson on his team. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so can we use Russell Wilson in this deal? We get the 107. We get McCarthy in a future first, ideally, again, in 2027. And because this is a competing team, you know what? We'll also give you Davante Adams in this deal. Right? Again, the perfect way to sell these aging veterans. You know what I mean?
No, makes sense.
I think that's a beautiful trade. Again, right now, it's a one quarterback league. Next year, it's super flex. We grab the 107, J.J. McCarthy, and a future first-round pick. J.J. McCarthy right now, I'd pay around the range of the 104 to the 106 in 2025. So I see that as getting the 104, the 107, and a future first for the 102. And moving away from Adams and Russell Wilson in a realistic way. You know, again, you know your league. Can you get more than this? You'll know that answer. Can you add, you know, the 207? Is that possible? You know the limits of your league.
Yeah, that can be a nice little add-on there.
All right, let's keep doing the. Let's look for the 106 and the 105 next.
105 is Team 5.
Okay, cool.
I think this could be doable.
Ale? Okay. Yeah, so they have the 105. We're thinking like 105 Bucky. I mean, I would do just the 105 and Bucky Irving pretty easily.
Bucky. Yeah,
but
that could be something.
I don't know, obviously, how far we can stretch it. But the 105 and Bucky is easy. You know how much we love some Bucky.
101 as well.
But, I mean, you could do like 105, 108, and then a future first. And again, we're trying to send this team Davante Adams again, right, in this deal. Really wanted to use Adams in one of these trades to get him off the roster. And you're not going to get a first for him. It's just not going to happen. But, I mean, we will say if you can, right? Of course, if you can get any first in any year, you do it. It's just not really probably possible.
I don't think it's possible. Yeah, that's not.
All right, last one is the 106 here. As far as wanting to tier down in this range.
A Team 3 Hurricane Sweetness.
Okay, and this team is pretty stacked. I think they could be looking at trying to get up in the draft for a running back.
Running back, yeah.
So,
I think so as well. One of these wide receivers could be.
I think we aim like 106 Adunze.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was at. 106 Adunze. I mean, I'm happy to even say like 106. Well, for rebuilding, we really don't want DJ.
Yeah, no.
But like, I'll be okay with like a Garrett Wilson too, and then throw Davante Adams his way.
Oh yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. Okay, so like the 106 plus Garrett Wilson, and then send the 102 and Davante Adams. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. I think Adunze is going to be the easier buy, but it will depend on the person now that Ben Johnson's there. I love Kincaid as like a throw-in one of these deals as well. You know, if you can kind of just sneak them in and just kind of see what happens. You know, could that develop into your future starting tight end? But I love all these deals, honestly. I think we've had some fantastic deals here. And again, what's the power of your pick? I keep trying to tell people this. Like, what is the power of your pick? I tried to say it all last offseason. But I want Caleb Williams at the 101. But I want Marvin Harrison at the 102. What is the power of your pick? Stop thinking so much about that name. All right? I know we all love these names. We all think there's no way these rookies aren't going to be their ceiling comps. There's just no scenario that Ted McMillan is not the next monster Mike Evans, 1,000 yards every year, top 12 finish every year player. That's what people feel. Last year, Marvin's the best prospect we've ever seen. There's no way he's not the next Larry Fitzgerald. It's like, okay, but doesn't always work out that way. And sometimes, actually, if you actually look historically, the best player in a rookie draft is more often found outside the top 2 picks than it is. Just saying. So, yes, you can turn the 101 to Ted McMillan, and that's going to be an incredible addition. He's an incredible player. Or, what you could do is think about the future, right? Turn that into the 107, McCarthy, and a future first. Into the 105, where you can get maybe a Luther Burden and Bucky Irving. right? Like, these are the type of deals where we're really going to make a difference for our roster.
I agree.
And then again, like, if you can sell Devontae Adams on his own for any pick, great. If you can sell Russell Wilson for any second, you know, in any year, great. If you can sell George Pickens, honestly, teams that are rebuilding, I'm not really bothered at selling George Pickens because I just think he's so talented. Like, I just feel like with the right quarterback, he could really put up 1,400 yards. But as a rebuilder, I think that first-round pick will maybe maintain more long-term value. It's less risky, maybe less upside, but it's less risky. That pick isn't going to lose value. So you can go that route too. Now, obviously, you don't want to send George Pickens to like a true contender. Like, you don't want to send him to the guy who's in the championship game, but
no, which makes sense. I'm not sure if there's anything else you had here, because I will go to like waiver wires really quick. Because my first waiver wire thing I would like to say is that since this is moving to Superflex, I might gatekeep some of these players.
Ooh.
I see Derek Carr there. I see Will Levis. I know they're not amazing.
Yeah.
But Derek Carr got a new head coach. What happens if the Titans don't draft a quarterback? That means he's most likely to be the starting quarterback. Derek Carr, once again, gets Kellen Moore.
Yeah, there's a chance Will Levis could really pay off in the Superflex league.
100%, and then you can pick him up. I think those are the only two players. The other player, just a nitpick, is probably Wandale. Pick him up, drop DeMarcus Robinson. He could potentially getting a new quarterback. You saw him getting all those targets last year. It wasn't for many yards, but what happens if it turns into yards with the new quarterback, right? So those are some players that I would probably just add onto.
I like AJ Barner as well, but if you don't have space, you don't have space. But yeah, I love that idea that you mentioned. So we'll kind of add this here as well, like waiver wire pickups. We said Will Levis. We said Derek Carr. I think let's do this in order of like, what's the word?
Like priority, like waiver priority.
So I think it's Levis, Carr, Robinson.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
So yeah. I love that we have that feature now.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's really great.
Yeah.
But I don't think I think this is great.
This is the pathway, man. This is the pathway. It's you stick at the 104 in the 202, and you try and use that 102 as like a power play for max value in a tier down. That's the way you do this team, and you got to know. It's gonna take me a little bit. It's gonna take me a little bit to really get these assets to build this team up. You know, and you hold your quarterbacks, and they'll get more value when it becomes a super flex league. Unless of course you can do like these trades that we talked about, like the CJ's trade, which I'll highlight. I really like that one. I really liked the McCarthy one. I was a big fan of too. Yeah. I think you really liked the Garrett Wilson deal, which I liked.
Yeah, as well. I like Garrett Wilson, Adams, and then Bucky? We can do Bucky. Yeah, this is a running back. Yeah. That's 4 right there. Yeah, but this is a good pathway. Golf, obviously, it's probably not what you wanted to hear with the full rebuild, but obviously, like we always say, we hope you come here for transparency.
Sorry, I just saw Matthew's comment.
Yeah, I know.
This is the thing I've seen with Cam Ward. I love it. See, I appreciate Matthew, right? Someone who comes and says his opinion, and then we're like transparent and being like, don't agree with you, but let's talk about it. And he still comes back to the stream and we still hang out. I love that, right? Like, it's okay that's awesome. I like that.
Some people get butthurt, and that's okay. But Golf, you'll be receiving your playbook within 72 hours. Customized well information here on the chalkboard. Positional priorities, draft capital, all that you see here on that graphic, you're going to be getting within 72 hours. Customized for your team. So we really appreciate you and the support, man. Thank you so much.
And by the way, that right side of your screen, the chalkboard, that is what you're looking at while we're reviewing your team, is the chalkboard, right? So someone asked that on a stream yesterday in the comment section. So just to clarify, that chalkboard ends up getting full of all the ideas that we talk about, right?
Yeah. Essentially, I have to create the graphic if anyone wants to know a little bit of BT behind the scenes. We just take notes and I create the graphic later. So you guys can get that in the Flock Fantasy message system. But once again, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Hap is with us, again, just check your messages on the Flock site. You currently have an offline review. If that's what you prefer, you don't need to change anything. If you do want it live, just check your messages so we can know if we're looking at your team today or offline, right? D1 and only is the next live review. Yes, this is a live one looking at the back end. That's because he's a member, right? He got that discounted price for the live one, but
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead and read this context for us.
Yeah, we'll take it away here. D1, thank you so much. He says, have been in the bottom 3 every year and need help turning it around. Last season, I turned Pacheco and D-Hop into Ladd, Keon, and Benson, then screwed myself by trading Hubbard for SMA and Brooks 2 weeks before tearing his ACL again. Gosh, that's just unlucky. League isn't very active with trades, so making things hard. Okay. Well, the first part
that
of
trade
that
sucks.
The first part of that trade, D-Hop or Pacheco and D-Hop and turning it to Ladd, that was great. But that is unfortunate. The second part
is a heartbreaker there. But it happens. I mean, it's the reality.
Was it? You know what was crazy? You traded Hubbard because you were hoping Brooks was going to start.
Yeah.
He tears his ACL, and then Chuba Hubbard gets a contract extension? Or was it the opposite? Did he get contract extension before he even got onto the field?
No, he got the extension in the middle of the season when he was really balling out.
Anyways.
What's up, Andrew? Welcome in. Appreciate you, man, for being here.
Yeah. How you doing, brother?
All right. So, yes. All right. He's been bottom. He's trying to turn it around, and it's a 1 quarterback, 10 team start 9, which makes you middle ground.
Middle ground. Yeah, 1 quarterback, 10 team start 9 is middle ground. And let's have a look at this team here.
Currently ranked 8 out of 10, but
yeah,
there's no clear Thanos in this team, which is great. In this league, you know, there's a lot of most of these teams are in it from like a competitive long-term perspective, and you're one of those. Again, team 8 overall.
Yeah, team 8. Yes, the practice squad. To attack Sam Donald, Russell Wilson, Daniel Jones, the list goes on. Obviously, not the strongest quarterback room, but you do have sustainable quarterbacks to have in your starting lineup. At the running back position, CMC, Trey Benson, Tank Bigsby, Jonathan Brooks, and the list goes on. Not the strongest running back room. You do have CMC and some pathways for some of these guys that we could potentially talk up. At the wide receiver position, you can start it to 5 wide receivers. Malik Neighbors, Ladd McConkey, Jordan Addison, Keon Coleman, Shakira, Jacoby Myers, and the list goes on. Not the strongest wide receiver room. Very top heavy. Actually, no, it's a decent wide receiver room.
That's the highlight of this team for sure.
Yeah, it is the highlight of this team, but basically I was saying like you have Ladd McConkey and Jordan Addison that we feel comfortable starting when you can start it to 5 wide receivers.
Yeah.
And Neighbors. With Jonnu Smith, Pat Fryermuth, then you have the 102 and your 26 first.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Well, there is work to be done. If you think about the starting lineup here, I guess we're starting Tua, McCaffrey, mystery running back, Neighbors, McConkey, Jonnu. You're hoping that he retains his role, and then we need to start 3 more players, which would be Addison, hopefully Shakir, Myers. I mean, like, you have like a bunch of veterans that can kind of fit into roles, or like middling guys that can fit into roles, but you really don't have this star-studded lineup. Like, if this was a 12-team league and this was your lineup, I'd say, you know, we can probably make a couple moves and get into the playoffs and compete. With this being a 10-team league, and you know, typically those superstars are really determining championships, I just think you're too far off from really not considering like a 1-year punt here.
Yeah,
I really think this is a 1-year punt, and we move off McCaffrey. You know, we move off of like the Shakirs, the Myers, when we can, the Jonnu Smiths, and maybe tear down from the 102 and really reassess next off season. I think that's probably the move I'd make.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, reassessing next offseason is going to be tough. I'm just thinking, yeah, We could do 1 year punt. Still a lot of gaps. I feel like the reason why I feel there's a lot of gaps.
Rebuild is what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm leaning full rebuild. Let me tell you why. Because I think there's a lot of gaps here, and I'm not a biggest. And the reason why is because I'm not a biggest believer in CMC coming back and making a huge impact. I think he's going to be a decent running back, but I don't think he'll be the CMC that we all know and love. So I'm really high on trying to trade him away. You still have question marks on Trey Benson if he's even going to get onto the field. What is Keon Coleman going to be? Do the Raiders get another quarterback? Do the Dolphins draft a quarterback? Is Tua Tags going to get injured again? I feel like the only highlight of your team is Malik Neighbors and Lam McConkey, which is great. You have those two pieces to build around.
Yeah. And just to add on to the team review, but also answer a question in the chat, a lot of people are asking this question, like, do you think Ladd is threatened? Frankly, no. I think they need to add another pass catcher.
If anything, it helps him.
I think they need to take some attention off of him. They need to make their offense not so one-dimensional where it's like Ladd and let's try and run the ball. They really need like a Loveland. They need someone to play, a little bit bigger, a little bit outside, which Ladd has a versatility. But no, I think it's like think about, and I'm not saying Ladd is the next Amon-Ra St. Brown. Wouldn't surprise me. I love Ladd McConkey. Y'all know that. Ladd the space creator. But like when Amon-Ra was complimented by Jameson Williams in the first round, we were like, oh no, what's going to happen? It's like, so you kind of, at some point you kind of need a little help on the roster,
Yeah, people were, I think it was a little bit different because people were scared that J-Mo in his draft capital and how he was going to be.
And he didn't have, and Amon-Ra wasn't a first round pick, right? Where Ladd kind of has that back into the first, early second round draft capital to rely on. And he was a great player. He had a very good season. It goes under discussed. But anyway, I think you're right. The guys that we're building around are Neighbors, McConkey, and then we're kind of just reshuffling the entire deck if it was our team. I would say untouchables are Neighbors in our future picks. Just both of our future firsts. I do think we need to reset this thing. I think your holds. Benson definitely comes to mind as a really good hold. All these quarterbacks, without being disrespectful, really mean little to nothing in a one quarterback league. But Benson's a hold. At this point, Bigsby is, because why wouldn't you with the new coaching staff? You can't sell him for a second. You might as well hold and see what he can become. Jacoby Myers feels like a hold too, because if they truly go quarterback, let's say they grab Shedeur Sanders, he could be a great sell in season. And then Jared Wiley as well, with the uncertainty around Kelsey. All great holds. As far as drops, you got a lot of guys you can drop here, man. If this is truly one quarterback and you're not going to Superflex anytime soon, Spencer Rattler, you're gone. Anaya Smith, which I remember there was a Anaya Smith hype crowd out there last year. You remember?
100%.
Not here anymore. That's okay. He's gone. OBJ gone. If you need to clear more space, I think you can get rid of. I'm close to getting rid of Rashawn and Antonio Gibson in my league, so I'll leave that up to you. Eric All, you can move on from. He's not going to play the entire year in 2025 with that injury. Again, if you need to make space. As far as waivers.
Yeah, have a look at waivers. I mean,
I would be willing to pick up Sincere McCormick and drop like Antonio Gibson. I'd also be willing to pick up AJ Barner and drop Eric All if you want to make that space, because I like Barner. Okay, McCaffrey we can sell, but really we can only do that in season, so let's keep that in mind. You're not going to really be able to sell. Like, personally, I think he's the best buy for contenders right now at this point of the offseason, but that makes him a bad sell typically. Right? You can sell him in season, and ideally like a mid to late first.
Yeah, I'm happy to take any first for CMC.
But again, I don't think you can. It would be harder to get that right now. I am not a big Keon Coleman guy, but again, if you can get a first for him, of course you sell.
Is he valued as a first?
He's not. He's not anywhere, which is why I'm saying you probably hold him. Like, are you really going to reshuffle? You have like Keon Coleman, who is basically the Bills' first-round pick, or do you literally just hold him and see what he can become next year? You know?
Yeah, valued on keep trade cut as a 201.
Oh, okay.
Just
well, okay.
Fly.
If that's possible, great.
This is a 10-man league, so let's just try 112. 112 is just over, but anyways.
Okay, perfect. Even in a rebuild, I would sell Jonathan Brooks for any second.
Yeah, I'm there with you. It sucks because you just traded for Jonathan Brooks, even though that was just
you don't want to be in this sunk cost fallacy consistently. Jonnu Smith, I would say, again, in season, you want to sell him. If he retains that old role, you can get an early second for him. If he's really going out there and scoring 17 points per game again this year, you know?
Yeah.
It's possible. So again, those are like your sellable names to me. I mean,
I agree. I mean, I'm not sure if there's anyone else you can sell.
Jacoby is more in season again. Right? I'd say like kind of same as Jonnu Smith. Again, in season sells here. Because if they really go out and get Shedeur Sanders or a quarterback upgrade, you know, that means they didn't draft a wide receiver. Tank Dell, you might as well hold on this team, right?
Yeah. What about Jordan Addison? The only reason why I say this is because he's the wide receiver 2 on the team. I'm assuming he can be valued in the first round in a one quarterback. I know he's still young, but would you rather have in a rebuild a first rounder or Jordan Addison? A mid first round.
I don't mind the idea of like a 2027 first rounder, but I'm not obsessed with the idea of like a 2025 because you kind of get in this position where you're like, you just might be able to draft a player like Jordan Addison. Like you just might be able to do that, you know?
Yeah, let me see what he's valued on KTC. According to KTC, in a one quarterback league, he's valued as the 107.
Wait a second, is this Scoot's team? Scoot, is this yours? All this time we didn't know this was Scoot's team, is that right? Let us know. But yeah, I'm not opposed to an Addison move, but
like I said, well, I don't know if you heard, but 107 valued for Jordan Addison.
Oh, really?
According to Keep Trade Cut. I'm going to see what the Flock Fantasy says, our trade calculator.
That is interesting.
One quarterback. This is a 10 team.
Oh, okay. He says, no, not me, just in my league. Well, this team has like the 108 and the 203. Like that package, I would definitely sell him for.
Jordan Addison. Let's just see 107.
I almost wonder if we find, you know what we would need to do to sell Addison Badaki is find a contender that needs running back. And the reason I say that is because we use CMC in the deal. Okay, like Wolfpack.
Sorry, on the site it says, according to expert consensus on Flock Fantasy, 107 is a fair trade.
Okay, so what we would do is we'd do CMC plus Jordan Addison, and we'd send it to a team like Wolfpack, for example. Try and get that 104 plus something. Like the 104 and what, like Jaden Reed?
Yeah. I mean,
that feels like underselling these assets individually.
I feel unless it's like
maybe like a future first.
Yeah.
And then we can.
What was that team's name? Sorry.
Wolfpack.
Wolfpack, yeah. January, yeah. Future first just feels better. Unless, future first just feels better.
Yeah. I mean, we can send you Jacoby Myers as well in one quick clean sweep, getting rid of some of these guys. The 104 and let's say 2027 future first or something like that. That gives you more capital this year. That gives you a future first round pick. You probably can sell Addison and CMC both for a first, but probably not guaranteed a top 4 pick. So Jacoby kind of makes that possible in this hypothetical world. So that could work. You know, can you stretch it further? You know your league, right? Like, what is the possibilities in this? Can you add Jaden Reed onto this? Yeah, you know exactly what is and isn't possible based off the values in your league. But, you know, again, that's a possibility. Yeah, so we can do that. Let's find another team that needs running back. Yeah, not loving this. I mean, I'll just say this. If you can turn CMC into Bucky Irving, I also love that. I know that's possible in some leagues. Some leagues it's not. Okay, how about like the...
Crazy that this... Sorry, it's so random, but like that team 5, let's trade boys. This guy has Trey McBride and Sam Laporta. Yeah. And he still ranks 2nd in the tight end.
Yeah, that's the power of Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers has just taken it.
So we could trade CMC to Ballbusters and ask for the 103. I almost feel like you could do a similar deal. Ask for the 103 here and the 203. And then remove Jacoby Myers. And then could we add something else? Maybe we need to add Jacoby Myers into this deal. Oh, it's a 204. The 103 and the 204.
Basically the 202 is 10-man league. Remember that?
Right. I mean, in this scenario, do we just add like...
In a 1 quarterback league, this guy has Lamar, CJ Stroud, Brock Bowers, Michael Penix. Like, do we try and go for one of these quarterbacks?
I just don't care about quarterback in the 1 quarterback league. I'll address that last. I'd rather have the flexibility of the picks. But like, if you can get that haul where it's like the 103 in all those seconds, would you do it? I think I would. Yeah, I would do that pretty easily. Actually,
103 is good. I think. Still feels like it's under. I guess depends on how high CMC goes, but I think it should be good. It should be good.
Yeah. That kind of range, I think, is what you're looking at. These other teams probably aren't making the playoffs, but I mean, you could also try and like just get like the CMC plus Jordan Addison. We're gonna target Marvin Harrison plus something from this team, okay. Like Marvin. What about like Marvin Ayuk or something?
Yeah, that's fun.
So that's another idea of how you can move off if you wanted to. This guy is probably not going to compete this year, but if he is a lunatic, maybe he thinks he can. I just don't see a trade there for us. Now, if you are to stick and pick here at the 102, you know, like we've said before, you'll get a good player, right? 1-2 is great. You'll get a great player. Not sure it'll make the impact on your roster that you really want it to, but you'll get a decent player. The other option is that, you know, you use that pick to trade down, which we've talked about a lot, like tier down, right? And we did this with a team just before, but we go from the 102 and then we try and tier down anywhere from like the 103 to the 107 range plus something. So let's try that, shall we?
Yeah, so with the 103.
I'm just gonna go bottom to top and see what picks everyone has. Okay, so Murder Bones has the 105. Let's start there. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. So like the 105, would you do the 105 Ayuk 206?
Yep.
Something like that, right? Tearing down, getting a quality player who's currently very cheap. We could also just go like the traditional 105 plus a future first. I don't see much flexibility outside of that with this roster. The practice squad has the 102. Oh, that's
he is a practice squad. 103 ball busters.
Yeah. I mean, he wants to trade. Oh, no, that's the other guy. I don't see anything here, man. I don't see anything here.
Yes, 104 Wolfpack, which we spoke about. That's also the same same situation. These guys don't have like those middle range players.
Yeah.
That you would want.
I don't hate the idea of like a Dunze 110-201.
Roma Dunze 110 201 for the 103. So 201 is
great for him.
What's that? The 111? Nah, that's the 112.
Yeah,
no, 111.
Exactly.
111. That's
too late
that's
first,
the 111.
basically.
So you get the 110, hypothetically the 111, and Roma Dunze in a 10-man league. Yeah, that's okay.
You put Roma Dunze in this class, he's my 102 as a prospect. The 108 is weird. I don't really want their future picks. And I don't think you can get like the 108 Garrett Wilson. But I wouldn't stop from trying. 108 plus Garrett Wilson. And then we could probably send a kicker in there like...
Probably have to be...
Keon Coleman?
Yeah. Wait.
I'd say either Keon Coleman... or you could try that with Shakir. You know, or you could try that with... What's the other vet that he has on that team? Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers.
So, yeah. That's the other option there. And again, just trying to maximize value as much as we can. We got the 106 here. So, like, the 106... Waddle's pretty affordable right now. I think that might be possible. Like 106 Waddle. Would you do that? The 106 and Waddle?
Yeah, I would. I would do that.
Again, if you can throw the 205 on top, great. You know your league better than us. If you think that's pushing the envelope, you know you'll know more than us. Yeah. I like that idea a little bit better for a team that really needs more assets long term. Again, we're building around that wide receiver room of Neighbors, McConkey, but we need to have a bigger impact with these picks that we have because we don't have enough. You know, you guys will have seen us review teams that have 4 first-round picks. We're probably not telling that guy, and they have 2 future first-round picks in every draft. We're probably not telling that guy to tear down from the 102.
No.
But a team like this probably definitely benefits from that idea. So I think that's the route I would go here.
Yeah, this is obviously, once again, not probably what you wanted to hear. Full rebuild is unfortunate, but it happens. Draft capital grade, I put just as like a B minus.
Yeah, I agree.
He doesn't have anything special, but he has all his picks in the future. Overall team grade compared to the last team, we gave a D plus. I'll say C minus. He has better wide receivers here and more pieces to play with.
You said C minus?
Yeah, overall team grade.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with Neighbors and McConkey, I guess.
Yeah. A D plus, you know?
Yeah, I guess C minus. I'm not even sure if this is a better team than the one we just reviewed, but.
Yeah.
They're close. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
It is close.
Sorry, what else for the graphic, for the playbook did you need? My bad.
That's it. I was going to give him the spiel of 72 hours, and we appreciate the support. Do you want?
Yeah, that playbook. Go ahead and give your spiel on the playbook.
Yeah, we'll be giving out. We'll be sending your playbook within 72 hours, customized to you and your team. We really appreciate the support once again with all the positional priorities, rankings, untouchables for your team within 72 hours in the Flock Fantasy Message System.
Yeah.
Love.
We appreciate you. Let's see. I'm trying to bring this back up. Okay. So we've got your highlighted trades that will feature there as well. And appreciate you, man. Thanks for the support. It's always like, obviously, I think these people know the state of their team when they submit it. So I don't think they're ever upset, but you almost like when you see a team that's complete, you can definitely find ways to help them improve. But when you see a team that needs to just tear it down, you're like, all right, let's get our hands dirty a little bit. All right, let's go Peepov next.
Yeah.
Again, if your name is Hap or John Perry, please check your DMs. You currently have offline reviews, and you don't need to change anything if you do want it to be offline. But if you're looking for a live review, just check your messages on the Flock Fantasy My Reviews tab where your review is submitted. Okay.
All right. Pete Pav, thank you so much for submitting. If I'm not mistaken, you did get a team review before. I could be wrong. I feel like your name seems very familiar.
Here.
And you are here. Let us know if you have gotten a team review.
And
you have.
Just before we do get into his review, by the way, let's tell people how they can sign up if they want to. If you want to get your team playbook, all right, which we just showed you guys, as well as the review and the 2025 rookie report, free trade question vouchers, and unlock our complete rankings, premium tools, databases, draft guides on the site, then flockfantasy.com/land. Become an annual Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. Okay. Best bang for your buck by far. I mean, you'll see people who come back for reviews and you're like, is their price so discounted? That's because they're members. The members get that discounted price if they come back for another purchase on the Flock site, 30% off. The other way is by, going to the Flock store and purchasing a team review, a team playbook with the promo code, or with us at Fantasyland, regardless of what promo code you're using, right? So you can go to the Flock store, you can go pick a review, you can choose Zach and Badaki from Fantasyland. If you want it live, just get the live tier. All right, so I put a link in the chat for both of those, but the way to get a yearly member is by going to flockfantasy.com/land. Paul says, I haven't done a team review with you guys, but I asked so many questions during the seasons.
Okay. That's probably what it is. Yeah, I remember you asking us a lot of questions. But appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support in season and now during the off season. But let's have a read of your team in context. First ever Dynasty team trades made. So you Chuba Hubbard, a 26 first for Marvin Harrison, a 26 fourth Devontae Adams. Okay, sorry. Chuba Hubbard and a 26 first for Marvin Harrison Jr. That's one trade. The 26 fourth Devontae Adams, I'm assuming, for the 203 and Debo.
No, Debo's another trade. So it's a fourth and Devontae. Devontae for the 203 is one trade, and I like that.
Okay, that is one
Debo
trade.
for the 111.
Debo for the 111.
There's no commas here.
No, it's not hard. Okay, so sorry, one more time for the top. Chuba Hubbard and a 26 first for Marvin Harrison, one trade.
Yeah.
Sorry, and a 26
yes, that was
a
one trade. That is one trade.
That's one trade. Devontae Adams for the 203, trade 2. Debo for the 111, trade 3. Dobbins and a 26 third for James Conner, J-Mo Coker for Addison. Okay, that's confusing. 208, I feel pretty well set up. Been hard to trade for running backs. Not sure what other moves to make or sit back for draft.
If you want us to fully clarify, just put the trades in the live chat poll, and we'll have a look at them individually. But let's look at them just one by one. I assume it's Chuba 26 first and Marvin.
And the fourth.
And the fourth, yeah. So I'm kind of indifferent on this, but you and I overall believe that Chuba is way undervalued. So I might not have wanted to use him in the trade, but it is paying like a premium based off what Marvin currently is going for a little bit, but that doesn't mean like Marvin could break out this year and you won't even think about it. Love the trade for Devontae, got the and Debo, by the way.
Yeah, so he's putting in the chat right now, so as it's coming up.
Yeah, so again, we talked about the Chuba one, the Devontae one I love, the Debo one I love, the Dobbins one I love as well, and then J-Mo and Coker for Addison the 208. I'm pretty indifferent on that one. But I like most of these trades. The Marvin one should pan out if he breaks out. Otherwise, you might regret it. But outside of that, I like all those trades a lot. His name is Detroit Therapist, by the way.
Yeah, and this is a 1 quarterback, 12-team start 9. So that's the middle ground, meaning you can start up to 5 wide receivers and 3 flex, 2 wide receivers, up to 5 wide receivers and running backs. We like to prioritize wide receivers in the flex position.
Yeah.
But let's have a look at this team here. Jaden Daniels, Derek Carr. That's all you need at the 1 quarterback league. At the running back position, Alvin Kamara, James Conner, Rashad White, and the list goes on. Not the strongest running back room, but you do have some draft capital that we can use. But yeah, Alvin Kamara is a good, RB2 in this scenario. At the wide receiver position, Puka Nacua, Drake London, Martin Harrison, Jordan Addison, Josh Downs, the list goes on. Good wide receiver room, really strong wide receiver room, actually. With the tight end position with Dallas Goedert. with Hunter Henry and AJ Barner. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I would say I would have been hesitant to send my 26 first off in a deal personally. Like, you take Marvin away from this deal, you still have your 26 first, and then you add Chuba Hubbard to the running back room. I don't know 100% how that's going to pan out yet.
Yeah, obviously we don't know when you did that. If you did that early in the season or late in the season, that was probably not ideal. But like if you did this early in the season before Chuba got that extension, that just makes sense because that was at that value. Like Marvin, that would have been really cheap. We were like, before Chuba got that contract extension, we would 100% used to do this.
He's did that a few days ago, but it's just like this team is definitely going to compete, but I would have rather the team be in a little bit of a better state if I made a trade like that, where I'm kind of putting myself now in a windows open pathway where your team isn't old, but the window is open in the sense of we have no benefit to not try and win it all this year. There's no benefit at all to our team whatsoever. If we don't make the playoffs, we don't benefit at all from that pick. We won't have that pick, right? But I don't think in most leagues you can sell Marvin for like who I have ranked in as a top 12 dynasty running back in Chuba and a first. So in hindsight, I'm not a huge fan of that deal looking at the team, but we can't really change anything about that. Like, I wish this team had like a Sam Laporta and another Pacheco or something on it if we made a deal like that. But we have draft capital, right? And we can still make a move. I think this is windows open. I don't see any reason not to compete. Again, you don't have any first round pick in 2026, so there's literally no benefit for you not to go out and try and compete right now. Your untouchables would be Puka Nacua. I wouldn't really say there is another untouched. Oh, well, let's put Jaden Daniels there. It's one quarterback, but yeah.
Yeah.
As far as your holds, I would probably say at this point Marvin. There's no reason for us to sell him now. Josh Downs is a hold I've loved for a long time, just hoping that quarterback play improves. I also love AJ Barner as a hold. And this team might as well hold Stephon Diggs, wait for free agency, and see if he can contribute to their roster as they're contending. As far as cuts, you can cut Michael Carter pretty easily. You can cut Sean Tucker if you need to. Yeah.
That's probably it, yeah.
Overall team grade, including draft capital, right? So we got a starting lineup of Daniels, Kamara, Connor, Puka, London, I guess Goddard, then Marvin, Addison. Geez, that flex is rough there. Is that Downs maybe? We'll add picks though. I'm leaning like B-.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. B-.
I really like the wide receiver room, by the way. Like, I like the strengths of it.
Yeah, I like the wide receiver room as well. And I think you have enough capital, 105, 111, the 202 to find some value there. Yeah. Like, I think this wide receiver room would have looked better with J-Mo and Coker because there's a lot of expectation for Coker. J-Mo had a, up and down season. He finished pretty decent at the end there. But that 208 feels... maybe it could be a steal, depending if Coker does pan out. I know there's a lot of Coker hype right now.
Love Coke. All right, let's... As far as, like, sells, I don't see any sells on this team, to be honest. I don't know. I need to answer the door. Sorry. Here, I'll... No. You can move. Do you want me to put the chalkboard up? I'll be like 5 minutes. Okay,
no.
You can do whatever you want on the chalkboard. I'll leave his team up for now.
Yeah. So Paul says, I feel like I was sliding up, tearing J-Mo to Addison, slightly tearing up, right, when I made that deal. And look, it probably does make sense, right? I think a lot of people like Jordan Addison with the quarterback play, or people don't believe in Jameson Williams, but I think it just really depends on your perspective, right? Because I think there's a lot of people like myself where I feel like those guys are they're in the same tier for me, from my perspective. I even see where they're at on on KTC. So like on Jordan Addison, which unfortunately you can't see right now because Zach normally controls the stream. Jordan Addison, wide receiver 21. Jameson Williams, wide receiver 24. So that tier up there, they're both in the same tier. They're basically essentially the same player and the same production on a fantasy points per game basis potentially. But if I was trying to tier up in that sense, then I was probably looking something a little bit different. But that's okay. I think what's done is done now, and that's okay. So like Zach was kind of saying, who are some players that you could potentially sell? I think after this last team review, finding out that Jordan Addison in a one quarterback is worth the 107, I personally would trade Jordan Addison, but you are windows open. So there's no point of trading him and trying to get that capital and then resetting, right? So I think right now what's best for you is to then just continue to build off of this capital with the 105, the 111, and the 201 in a one quarterback league, because I mean at the 105 that can be something really special, right? That can be something where you can just get, best player available. And let's see, 105, I don't have where he has it saved, but let's see if I can find another one that has the 105. All right, so you have the names in a one quarterback league that can really just range from so many people: Luther Burden, Mario Hampton, Caleb Johnson, Trey Henderson. Obviously we could put Ted McMillan in there just depending on the landing spot, but that is kind of the range for that 105, right? And then at the 111, those are a little bit different. Let's see if I can find one for the 111 here. So we can do, actually I can find the 202. So you have the 202, which is in this this like DJ Giddens, Devin Neal, Dylan Sampson, Cam Scatterboot, the Elijah Royals, Matthew Golden, Jalen Royals type of range. So there is some good players that you could potentially add onto this roster that can instantly become can be impactful, right? And then I think at the 111 you have Mika and Buka. You have your Colston Lovelands. You have your Tyler Warrens. Right. And I guess in a one quarterback league, you can add those quarterbacks as well. Or actually, probably not the quarterbacks in a one quarterback league. So Mika Ibuka, Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren are really big guys there that you could potentially add on to this. He says, do you think it's best for me to keep the draft capital or use them to buy a player or two? The problem with buying a player or two, which most likely we'll probably get into, you can do that. You can go out and use the 105 and go get a veteran player. But like, how impactful is that going to be versus that rookie, right? Because I guess it definitely can. It just depends on the player, right? 105, that can be a T. Higgins, a Rashee Rice. You can go out and get those players, or you can continue to stay young if you are windows open. With the 111, I think we would just best to stick and pick as well.
So we've talked about his options here in the 105. I mean, with his team, I definitely think you should grab one of these running backs at the 105, whoever falls.
He was just asking. He's like, the last question: do you think it's best for me to keep the draft capital or use him to buy a player or two? Really, just depends on how the way you want to go. I said,
welcome in, Russ. By the way, how you doing, Russ? Sorry, go ahead.
No, you can just get a T. Higgins or Rashee Rice, but it just really depends on how you want to go.
Yeah, I wouldn't use the 105. I would probably keep that for running back. Unless you're able to go get like a Bucky Irving, as an example. So like the 105, if you're able to go out and get Bucky Irving, I think that's his range. I mean, some people are willing to give you more on top. Let me get your face back in here. Here we go. Let's look at the Bucky Irving team, shall we? I'm an idiot. Okay, there we go. Bucky's on the Bears. So, like, can you get Bucky? Here's the idea, like Bucky in the 201 and you send the 105 and the 208 as an example, right? Like in that scenario, I'd be comfortable with it. But I'm not really sure I want to go out and get like a Breece Hall, because what if I have a chance to get a rookie running back who has an early second round draft capital? What if Daniel Jeremiah's mock is true and 3 running backs go in round 1, you know? So I think the 105, you'll still be able to buy a running back if the draft doesn't go the way you want it to, but it'll be harder to trade for the 105 if we get 3 running backs actually in the first round, or like 3 go top 50, for example. I think it will be a little bit tougher. So yeah, as far as like these second round picks, I'd probably be trying to hit on, like, if let's say like a Quinshon Judkins actually falls to the 111, what you could do is, depending on how the draft board is falling, if Warren's already gone, all right, let me grab Loveland because I really need an impact tight end, assuming they both go round 1. But if both of the tight ends are still available, and like let's say Judkins is a second round pick, we can come back here and grab 2 running backs, right? We have Hampton, Johnson, one of those names, and Judkins. Then at the 202, if Loveland is there, we grab Loveland. If not, did Elijah Arroyo get second round draft capital? You know, there's a couple ways that you can go about this. Can you add a Dylan Sampson at the end of the second round? There's definitely flexibility here. I don't think this team is a tier down candidate, to be honest.
No, you're right in the range where you want to tier down. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we could definitely discuss more about what it would look like to trade the 105 if we wanted to, but yeah. Outside of that, I mean, let's talk about, okay, so if you're going to move the pick, you really need to make it a running back. That is clearly a need of this team. It's going to have a bigger impact than trading for a tight end. You don't really need a wide receiver, right? So if we want to trade for vet running back, we can definitely look at that. In fact, we can do that with both of these picks if we want to. Like, what's funny is every time we have the 111 Badaki, we're like, can you get Chuba Hubbard?
Can you get Chuba Hubbard? Yeah,
you
know,
get
Chuba Hubbard. I mean,
that's always that range. Can you get James Cook? Can you get Ken Walker? That's always been that range this offseason, depending on your league. But obviously, trade away Chuba Hubbard, so it might not be possible, but he'd be a pretty good fit. And at the 105, like, let's talk about the range of running back. You really need to hit on a running back if you end up trading that. I really don't want to grab a Breece Hall, a Kyron Williams, you know, like, if I wouldn't mind the idea of like a Josh Jacobs plus. Like, what does the Josh Jacobs owner have? Do they have a plus that we can?
Yeah, I actually wouldn't mind. Like Paul said, like he said, should I try and get Hubbard back? I mean, I don't think I would be opposed to just using the 111, getting Hubbard back.
No, I would love that.
Like, well,
yeah, I mean, and
might as well try it.
Based off what he just went in your deal, can you get him cheaper than that? Like, can we add something on top? Because he's going so cheap right now. Can you try the?
Yeah, can you try the 202 or the 208 or something?
Right. Yeah. Can you
like if you're saying he's cheaper and based off that price, then it should be the 202, 208 type vibe.
Yeah. Let's send the 202 and the 208, and let's get Hubbard and the 306 or something. Or like Isaiah Likely's a good buy right now, if
you know, because
Mark Andrews moves on or something.
That just makes sense. And then your team is in a whole different position where you have Chuba Hubbard, you have Alvin Kamara, and you can still get a running back with the 105.
Yeah.
And yeah, your flex is going to be a little bit shaky, but you can just add James Conner to that flex. You can just add Alvin or that rookie running back.
Yeah.
To that flex.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have your 26 first. That's another thing.
Exactly. All right, sorry, I'm just trying to keep up here. Because we had someone at the door, and then they're like, you can't sign for this package. You know how they like they put it at like the post office? You have to pick it up. Anyway.
Oh, so they sent it?
Yeah.
They sent it back to the post office. That's annoying. and they probably won't send it back to the post office until they're done with their route.
Yeah.
And it's going to be by the time they're closed, so you're not going to get it until tomorrow. Anyways, I have been there. It's like, what the? That's so annoying.
Okay. So yeah, again, love the idea of like the second round picks in a Hubbard deal. I mean, even if you only use your second round picks and you added a Chuba Hubbard to this team, that's gonna fix a lot of the concerns. And then, again, like if you do use those second round picks, you really want to target like Loveland or Warren at the 111, ideally. But you'll still have flexibility of like adding another running back to this room. As far as like, you really hope Kamara and Connor are exactly what they were last year. I would also try and send the 208 for Trey Benson, considering we bought James Conner. I'd like to have that assurance because we've never seen James Conner be healthy an entire season except last year when they drafted Trey Benson. So I'd like to have that assurance if possible.
Good time.
And then, is there like a tight end we want to target with that 202 if we don't use it on Chuba? I think you get like Mark Andrews plus something. Or like George Kittle plus something.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see. Zach Ertz is on the waivers.
Oh, is Zach Ertz on the waivers?
Yeah, pick up Zach Ertz.
Okay, yeah, don't use that pick then. Just pick up Zach Ertz and hope he gets re-signed. That's actually a good catch. Let's look at the waiver. Yeah, he's really the only guy that's worth talking about, but definitely pick up Zach Ertz. And if he re-signs like a 2-year deal with Washington, at worst you'll have a mediocre top 12 starter. With like upside weeks. But yeah, I think my favorite outcome here is, okay, let's say we added Henderson and then we came back at the 211 or at the 111 and we added Loveland as an example. We used the 202 and the 208 on the Chuba Hubbard deal. That is my favorite outcome, I think, for this team. We had Hubbard, Henderson, Loveland likely. Again, Hubbard, Henderson, that instantly improves that running back room, as well as Loveland and likely. And then you're set. Let's go compete. And you can put some of those running backs in your flex spot. So that's how I would play this offseason.
It's not a bad team whatsoever. I think you're definitely going to be competing. Obviously, we wouldn't have done that trade with the Chuba, but that's okay. See if you can get him back. And if not, you have the capital to go out and get his replacement that could have the second round draft capital. That could potentially be in a better landing spot. So there is still some upside there. But Paul, let us know if you have any other last minute questions. We really appreciate you. And as you are maybe asking last minute questions or putting something in the chat, you will be receiving your customized playbook within 72 hours on the Flock Fantasy Message system. With all the customized information that we built here today for you. But we really appreciate you and your support, man. Thank you so much for your support during the season and off the season.
And like I said, please let us know if there's anything we didn't cover well enough, or if you had a different question about a different player. We didn't do as many trades, and I guess the reason why is because you have put yourself in a contending window. So we're not going to try and trade any of these running backs. And we really don't want to trade Daniels on a contender. Obviously, we want to build around these wide receivers. So it just made it harder to sell. I mean, even Diggs is a hold when you're contending, right? He says, thank you so much, guys. Would you prioritize a Hubbard deal over getting someone like Benson? Benson is a Band-Aid. I think Hubbard is more of like all right, we're ready to rock.
Yeah, I think I would prioritize Hubbard just because you know what you're getting with him. He's going to be the clear starter next year. We're still hoping, like Zach said, for.
Oh my gosh! I just got so nervous when you said that. Like, what if we get Zach Charbonnet 2.0 in Carolina this year or something? They can't do that. They just spent a second round pick on a running back. They literally can't do it.
My thing is, I think there's going to be. I'm putting my money that there's going to be 2 running backs that are going into positions like Zach Charbonnet. I don't know which two.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be disappointed by those guys and say,
I hate when teams do that.
Yeah, I just think it's inevitable. There's too many good running backs that it has to happen.
Yeah, Paul, you know the deal a little bit better. You know how your league values Chuba a little bit better. Again, start off with those 2 second-round picks. If that doesn't work, go to the 111. If that doesn't work, let's try and go get Trey Benson. Let's try and use one of these picks for Cook or Walker.
Yeah, get a feel for it.
I wanted to look at the Jacobs owner real quick because we talked about a 105 Jacobs plus. So the plus would be man, I don't think the 206 is enough. But I don't think you can get more. Yeah, maybe that doesn't work. Never mind. I mean, how do you feel about that? Jacobs in the 206, is that enough? I don't think so.
Nah, I don't like it. I feel like.
Yeah.
Let's just see what happens with Chuba.
Yeah, I agree.
I will see what happened with Chuba, and if not, maybe I think maybe last case scenario you should go to.
Well, the other route you could try is sending the 202 in a deal like this, and then getting Devonta Smith on top of it. Depending on the owner. I mean, I'm not a big Devonta Smith guy. I know other people are, but anyway, I really like the Chuba deal. I mean, I'm willing to pay the 111 like we talked about. I definitely think Benson should be a priority. And then James Cook, Ken Walker are both great ads as well. Unfortunately, we don't have as many trade options for you. I think the last thing we can maybe do for them is look at veteran wide receivers at the 202. They just don't need wide receiver, do they?
No.
We talked about.
We definitely need a flex somehow. You can definitely.
I was almost thinking tight end.
True.
Did we not look
at Kittle and tight
Andrews? Why didn't we look at Kittle and Andrews? I don't remember.
No, we have not.
All right, well, let's just look. Yeah, this guy's team is real. I like a Pearsall. Okay, Ricky Pearsall plus George Kittle. And we'll send you the 202 and the 208. What about that? I mean, that's Pearsall's going to gain value when Debo moves for sure. Oh, that's right. We said pick up Ertz. No, you're right. Yes, we did.
True. That is true.
Yeah. Okay.
That is true. I forgot about that already.
Paul,
put that on. Put it on. Put it. Add it to the chalkboard. Is that added to the chalkboard?
Yeah.
Okay. You added. Okay.
Paul, let us know if there's anything we didn't answer well enough, my friend.
He said he just picked them up, which is awesome. Okay, cool. Just see what happens, and if not, obviously, Paul, if that doesn't work, you can always come back and rewatch this, and look at those trade options or with the George Kittles, the Mark Andrews. If the Commanders do draft a tight end, you're in a prime position to get a tight end. Yeah. If they don't draft a tight end, you have Zach Ertz. If Zach Ertz doesn't get re-signed,
and Dallas Goedert isn't a terrible tight end. The issue is just with all the pass catchers in Philadelphia, they don't throw the ball. They're bottom of the league. Tight end. Yeah, they're literally, if you look at the past 7 years, they have the second lowest passing intent per game in a single season. Only the 2022 Chicago Bears were lower. And they won the Super Bowl doing it. Why would they not continue to do it? Appreciate you, Paul. Thanks for the love, man. Thanks for the support. Very kind of you. Let's go to our next review here. Just before we do, if you're out there watching this and you want your team reviewed, very simple. Become an annual Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAN. You get our rookie report, right? Which is already up there on the Flock site. Looks like this when you download it. Got all these tabs that you can go to back and forth. Very organized. Limits to lemonade report, historical hit rates, over 55 profiles, individual players. And then, of course, you get the team playbook as well. when you become an annual member, your review, free trade question vouchers, and all of the tools on the website. Databases, rankings, everything. The other way you can get your team reviewed is simply by going to the Flock store. I'll put that link in the chat now. Whatever promo code you're using, you can still get a review from Fantasyland, Dynastyland, Zach, and Badaki. If you want it live, just make sure you get the live tier. Okay, so Hap and John are offline reviews. Excuse me. We are waiting to hear back from them. So if we don't hear back from them, we will get the review done soon. It'll just be offline. We're going to do Sam Pop and we'll do Kyle. And then I think maybe that's what we'll do for today.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Sounds good. All right, Sam Pop, you are next. Thank you so much for the support. Let us know if you're here with us. If not, as always, you're going to be getting this time code in the Flock Fantasy message system, letting you know when we started to break down your team. It says, I was pretty disappointed with my 3 extra first-round picks were the last 3 in the draft, since to me, there is a tier varying after the 108 or so.
Yeah.
Thinking of trading down from the 110 for 2 early second-round picks. Also thinking of Kyler Murray for Trevor Lawrence and the 106.
Well, that's a no-brainer if you can get it done.
Yeah. So this is a 2-quarterback, 12-team start, 10 half PPR with the half-point tight end premium, which means this is middle ground. Super flex, really. So you can start up to 5 wide receivers. You're currently ranked 5th out of 12 according to Zach's
WG
rankings.
says, just notice on the playbook, receivers is spelled wrong on the content page. Is it?
On the content page.
Do you mean on the playbook itself? Where do we spell receivers?
I don't see receivers.
Oh, let us know what you mean, WG. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Let us know. I can definitely change that. Are you talking about the draft guy, maybe? Or the
maybe that's what he means.
Are you talking about the
right here
rookie report?
Yeah, I think that is wrong. Yeah, it's supposed to be EI instead of IE.
EI. Anyway, appreciate you. That doesn't have to be updated in version 3.
Okay, so
right.
Like you said, middle ground. Team Tartrazine,
yeah. All right. At the quarterback position,
5 out of 12, by the way, currently. Right?
5 out of 12. Yeah. At the quarterback position, Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Malik Willis, and you were talking about tearing down, which we'll talk about. At the running back position, not the strongest. Blake Corum, Kendrick Miller, and the list goes on, but you do have a lot of draft capital. At the wide receiver position, Drizzy, Ladd, Jordan, and honestly, the list goes on with Dalton Kincaid. But you do have some draft capital. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 first-round picks, with having the 201 as well. So essentially, you have nearly 5 first-round picks in this draft. Obviously, the 201 is just outside of that, but you get what I'm saying. You can get a first-round talent at the 201. Yep. Man, this is an interesting team.
Yeah, if you think about your starting lineup right now. Okay, first off, I mean, let's just say this. If you can get Trevor Lawrence in the 106, was it?
For Kyler Murray, I think it was.
That's a no-brainer. You accept
It's a no-brainer.
You accept that straight away if it's in the inbox. Love Kyler Murray, but that's just... Yeah, you take that trade. So, if he does accept that, then it's Mahomes, Trevor, no running backs, London, McConkey, Kincaid, I guess. Then we still have to start 3 names. Is that right? Mahomes, Purdy. 2 running backs that we don't know yet. Ladd, London, Kincaid. Yeah, we still need to start 3 names, which would be like Addison and then no one else. So we definitely need these draft picks to make an impact for us. I don't know that I want to sell the 101 on this team. I think we need Ashton Genty on this team. Half PPR as well.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we need Genty.
Just depends on what we do with these first. these are the first because.
Well, let's come up with a team grade first then. When you include the draft capital, and he has 2 firsts and 26, by the way. It feels like B flat range.
Yeah.
Yeah, B flat. Draft capital grade, you probably put at an A flat.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
Untouchables.
101 then, if you don't want to trade it.
Yeah, I was gonna say 101. I'm not sure there is another untouchable outside of that. Mahomes certainly isn't untouchable anymore.
Actually, Mahomes, not an untouchable.
Nope, not in Dynasty.
Whoa, nah, fuck with you. Yeah, holds Blake Corum.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't even think you have another hold. I guess you can.
Kincaid is worth holding. You can't sell him for anything. And then drops. You can drop Zacchaeus. You can drop McCole Hardman. You can drop Clyde. You can drop Zach Wilson. And you can do all of that by just, you can sleep easy at night doing it too. Those are easy drops. Let's go to the chalkboard here. So at the 101, if we stick and pick, let's play this out. We would have Ashton Genty, which would be a much needed upgrade for this team. Then you have all these late firsts, which makes it very difficult to really know what we can actually acquire here. You're in this range of all these players.
This team needs a Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah. You're in this range kind of all these players here. Right. You're probably not going to get Burden, Hampton, Johnson, but I mean, Egbuka could fall here.
Well, should we add the 106 if that trade does go down?
Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Because he says, let me just reread this. He's like also thinking of Kyler Murray for Trevor Lawrence in the 106. So are you thinking about it, or is that trade in your inbox and you just have to accept it? Obviously, you're not here with us, but when you are watching this, if that trade is still in your inbox, let's accept that immediately.
Yeah, let's definitely accept that. And then we'll use that on one of these running backs. So we'll get Genty and whoever's left over from Hampton, Johnson, Henderson. Right. And then at the 110, I think you start to prioritize like the best players available still, like the Egbuka, the Loveland. Is Judkins there? Is Matthew Golden there? And he ended up going in the second. Or in the first, sorry. Right. So, I mean, draft capital is pretty good here. You can definitely make a big impact on this team with the current assets you have. I don't really know that I don't think I'd be wanting to trade back with this team. I definitely agree about the whole tiers and him wanting to maximize value, but you're in a league where right now you're rostering 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You have a 20 roster cap. And you already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks this year. I think if we want to trade back, we do that in the draft if there's a good offer on the table, but I wouldn't be intentional about doing it right now. I mean, what if we do, honestly, people are talking about potentially 6 running backs going in the first 2 rounds. If we have 6 running backs in the first 2 rounds, if that actually happens, which it could not, then your 110, 11, and 12 will be way more valuable. So
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
look, obviously I see it, but I see your perspective and I see the other perspective. Like, obviously the whole time with the 101 we said maximize, unless you have a team with Ashton Genty, unless you have a team that's probably missing this one piece. I feel like this team is missing a lot of pieces.
Yeah, but the reason, not when you add all these names. So if we add Ashton Genty,
when you add the names, it's like
think about it.
Feels perfect.
So we add Genty, Henderson, Judkins just to our running back room. Genty, Henderson, Judkins, that completely changes it entirely. Mm-hmm. Then we added to our wide receiver room Egbuka and Golden. That's going to make us a little bit deeper. And then we add Loveland or one of these tight ends. I mean, I definitely agree with, like, if he had just the 101 and we were looking at this team, I'd be on board to try and trade that 101 away. But you need some pillars eventually to build around. I mean, let's say the obvious. If you can trade the one away for, and I don't think you can, but the Malik Neighbors of the world, right? Justin Jeffersons of the world, the CeeDee Lambs of the world, right? Like, if any of these are possible, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, let's get that out of the way before we keep going. But I think you could use like a untouchable name like one of these.
Yeah, which makes sense here.
As far, go ahead.
No, so we're sticking to big end. Love it.
I think we are. I love the idea of moving Kyler Murray, and I'm hoping that deal is on the table and he can go ahead and accept it. You don't really have any other tradable names outside of Patrick Mahomes. And I think that's where I would be willing to tear down. You know, you look at, it's not the same as last offseason. Like, last offseason, I was able to trade away Mahomes for, like, Jaden Daniels, Brian Thomas, and a future first. You can't do those type of deals now. But even if you look at KTC, you've still got him 6th overall in Superflex, right? Or quarterback 6.
QB 6, yeah.
He's quarterback 6, yeah. So you can still tier down. Like, he's a tier 5 quarterback on their system. And in tier 8, you got like the Purdy's, the Bakers, right? The Penix. Why is Penix ranked so low on their site? Goff, Dak. These are all names that we can tier down to pretty comfortably. So I said Penix. I said Dak Prescott. Who else did I say? Goff, Purdy. Who else?
Baker. Did you say Baker?
Baker.
Trevor. JJ. Penix.
Because we're competing, maybe we'll... I definitely like Penix there. So let's look at those options, unless I missed anybody. I mean, could you tier down to Love? Maybe. We can add him. So let's look at those options. This is where maybe you can get some more leverage in the future. Let's start with Penix. The Penix owner has Burrow, Caleb, Penix. I really don't see him wanting to do this deal. He has no running backs. I doubt he's going to be like willing to pay up for, you know. Yeah. I don't see that happening. Let's go Dak. The Dak owner, yeah, I think they could be willing to tier up. So in this world, we do like Dak Prescott. Wow, they have nothing.
They have, yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you can. They have absolutely nothing.
Yeah, we can't really do like Jerry Jeudy, but
no.
What about like Prescott Jacobs?
Or Patrick Mahomes.
You think that's underselling him?
Kind of, yeah. That's a really big tear down for...
Then instead of Jacobs...
I would do like Dak Prescott and... Like, this team's going to be bad. Like, that first should be top 5.
Okay, so let's go Dak Prescott, their 2026 first.
He doesn't even have a first-round pick this year.
Let's also try and get Josh Jacobs, but we will send them our 112. How about that?
Sure. Like, perfect. This is great.
Yeah.
Because this is, looking at this team, should be a top...
It should be bad.
It should be at least top 6 team pick.
I don't know, actually. It depends if these vets hold up, honestly. If these vets hold up, you might actually want to target their 27 first-round pick, to be honest. But
sure.
Anyway, let's keep going, shall we? Jared Goff.
Yeah, Jared Goff. Where you at, Jared?
Team 4. So this would be like Goff. You think Goff Higgins is possible?
Yeah, that's where I went.
I don't know if it is, but that would be a great haul. Not really sure it's possible. I mean, at minimum, you're probably going to have to send that to 12.
I mean, I'm going to look this up on KCC. I feel like that should be possible.
You think it's possible? I really don't.
For golf?
Is it?
KTC says you need to add like a fourth.
Okay.
According to this, it's off close. By... Yeah, it's really close. It's off by like 2,000 points or pieces. I don't know.
Well,
call it.
All right. I might be undervaluing Pat still then. Yeah. If it's possible to keep the 212 and do that, obviously that's a win. All right. So we did golf. Let's try to think about like a Purdy deal here. And Brock Purdy is on team 7. This would be like Purdy. Yeah, this one's tougher.
Yeah, I mean, you can. This feels like it has to be like. My first thought process went from like Purdy, Rice, and something else.
Yeah. Well,
like
we could try Purdy, Rice, and like Cook and add something.
Yeah.
And we can add like the one, like that 201 or something.
You can try the 201, yeah. Try the 201.
Something like that. Purdy's tougher. Let's try Baker here. Baker is on team 12.
Not much here either.
That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. So last one here is Jordan Love as a tier down. So let's try that.
Jordan Love is on team 8. Which is also, I mean, he has capital.
You couldn't get like the 103 in Jordan Love, but what if you sent like Mahomes in the 201? What does KTC say about that?
Let me see.
I doubt you're in range there.
201 for J Love. And what, the 103? Yeah, it's just off. So you could try adding that 112. Like literally that would probably be the difference. 112 says that's a fair deal.
Wait, what am I doing? Right, you're getting the 103, my bad. And then you're saying the 112, right? Yeah, I'm with you. Well, that seems unrealistic, but of course, if they use KTC, they'll be interested. That would be great. I don't think it's possible again, but that would be great. There's not really players here. I mean, you could go for their future first if you wanted. Yeah, let's leave it there. But yeah, I think, again, team name, Team Tartazine. I think this draft is going to change a lot for you. Let's fix your audio here. How about now, guys? Is audio speak for us, Lucky?
Hello.
We okay now with his audio?
Yeah, that sounds better. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, the other thing is we use these picks, trade for vet running backs, right? That's the last thing, if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Right, and I mean, it's that same range, that 111 or 112. Chuba Hubbard, it's the same range for Ken Walker.
Yeah, James Cook,
right? That's kind of the range we're in. I'm a big fan of tearing down from Mahomes though. Like the Golf Higgins, I'm shocked that's fair on KTC. Love that Jordan Love deal too.
Yeah, I like that one as well.
Any of these you want to highlight?
Let's just do the 111.
Let's highlight Kyler and Trevor.
Yeah, and just the 111, one of the 111s.
All right, let's just do Walker here for variety.
And this is we didn't do pathway. So this is This is a sleeper. I would say sleeper. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
You're playing with house money. I think you make some of these picks, and I think you can sneak into the playoffs. Maybe you have a Brian Thomas type blow up. in the playoffs with some of these rookies, it's not as good of a class, obviously. And, you know, you never know what could happen, right? So
yeah,
I think this is a great spot to be in. You should feel great about this team, honestly.
Yeah, man.
Obviously, you're not right there. It's not like the complete package yet, but you got all the pieces to really be there. Yeah, we appreciate you, my friend. Let's get on to the last team review for today. If you guys are out there and you're watching, you want your team reviewed, you can become a annual Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. You get the team playbook, right? Which will be customized to everything we know about your league, customized trade targets, and what to do with your draft capital. But of course, you also get the rookie report, all the premium tools on the website, rankings. It's the best bang for your buck. What's up, Sick Cans? Welcome in. Appreciate you, McD.
How you doing, brother?
Appreciate y'all for being here with us. Hit that like button as we are getting closer to the end of the stream here. Last team is Kyle. Is Kyle with us? Because I know he purchased.
He was here with us earlier. Let us know if you're still here, Kyle. Thank you for being patient. You're the last team for the day.
Kyle Kavanagh. Is Kyle Kavanagh with us?
Oh gosh, this team name is.
And he is. Love it. I'm just refreshing stream mode. Again, if Hap and John Perry are here, check your messages. We are currently looking at doing offline. If that's what you prefer, no need to take any action, but just check your messages. All right, let's go Kyle here, shall we?
Yeah. Kyle, thank you so much for the support. This is a Dynasty, obviously 2 quarterback, 12 team start, 9, which is meat and potatoes. And he says, I know you're saying Brock is untouchable, but would he be the one piece to move to get better depth at wide receiver and running back? Start 9 Superflex standard PPR with no time and premium, also looking to move back in the draft. Okay.
Start 9 Superflex. It's going to be tough for me to sell a name like Brock Bowers in such a small format. Meat and potatoes lineup.
Yeah, and your team name is Justin Toucher, which is you're ranked 3rd out of 12, which is
that's actually
phenomenal.
I'm gonna send that to our group chat. We have like all of our friends in like a sports chat, and one of our best friends is a Ravens fan.
He's got it. When he kicked that 66-yard field goal, he went and bought his jersey, and now he regrets it. But I'll break down this team here, and let us know. Please fill in with anything.
He says, I hope it's stream appropriate. We're definitely not the most politically correct stream out there, so you're fine.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at your team here. Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, Kirk Cousins, a good quarterback room. You don't have to worry about that. At the running back position, Jahmyr Gibbs, Tyrone, Zach Charbonnet, so not too much depth at the running back position. At the wide receiver position, you can start up to 4 wide receivers, Ladd, Rice, Mooney, Coker, and the list goes on. So not a lot of depth at the wide receiver position with Brock Bowers. And this is probably why you're saying, should you use Brock Bowers to trade, because you don't have any capital.
Now. This team is so top heavy and so barren of capital. Kyle, can you please tell me your 27 picks you have, right? You have all those picks in 27 still, right? You haven't traded them away. How did we lose our 25 picks? It must have been like trading for a Daniels, Gibbs, or Bowers, right?
Probably.
It is a start 9 though, so think about it. It's going to be Daniels, Penix, Gibbs, Tracy if Tracy keeps his job, Ladd. This is the problem. We don't even know if Rice is going to be healthy. If he is, let's assume that makes 6. Bowers is 7. You still need to flex 2 names. Mooney, Coker, maybe. You hope Dobbins gets a contract. Let's yeah, this is interesting. There's literally no way to improve this starting lineup without tearing down from one of Daniels, Gibbs, Bowers.
Yeah, I agree. And
you don't want to move any of those names. Let's look at this
team here. Let's look at Team 1. Why is Team 1 so big? Josh Allen, Drake May, Brees. Okay, he doesn't have great running backs. Puka, Nico, Drake, Marvin, Zay.
It's the combo of the draft capital with Allen, May, Puka.
I was gonna say, why is this guy has a massive gap? Like, there's such a huge, big gap in the rest of the teams where it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to, and I don't want to move Daniels in a super flex league. Here's the hard part. Start 9 is so small for super flex. That's a small, not as small as it gets, but it's very small. Meat and potatoes lineup, like we said. So you really don't want to not have these premium names like the Gibbs, the Bowers, the Daniels. But there is literally no other way around this if you want to change this roster up. I mean, what pathway are you even taking with this team? It's not a windows open, obviously. It's so young and they have their picks next year. You're definitely not contender yet. Is this just a sleeper pathway right now?
Yeah,
this team's in a really interesting place.
I mean, look, I think we could potentially tear down from, and hear me when I say this, from Jahmyr Gibbs, because if we can get into this draft, get a first round running back, or get a minimum top 3 pick plus something, because
like a Bucky Irving plus.
What have we been saying? What have we been saying the whole time? Like, it's Jahmyr. We value Jahmyr Gibbs as a 101. You can't get the 101. In reality, you don't want the 101 unless you can get the 101 and then trade the 101 for even bigger package.
Well, no, you couldn't trade the 101 for a bigger package to Jahmyr Gibbs. That would never work.
Sure, that exactly. So then it's probably getting like the 102, 103 and a piece that is going to be impactful for your team. Just depends on what that is.
Yeah. Well, this is a sleeper status. 25 was to go get Gibbs and move off Daniel Jones and get the draft to go get Penix. So probably worked out in hindsight, actually. Okay. This looks worse than it is because he has his 27 picks. Okay. So yeah, he doesn't have this year, but he has 26 and 27, which is great. Untouchables, you got a lot of them. I think we're going to use Gibbs in the tier down. So let's go Daniels, Bowers as our untouchables. I think Gibbs is going to give you more power in a tier down. So, yeah, let's go Gibbs, Daniels as our untouchables. As far as holds, Rice.
Wait, you mean Gibbs or Daniels, Bowers as untouchables?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rashee Rice is a hold. Penix for sure. I like Jordan Whittington if Puka moves on, or if Kupp moves on. I keep saying that, my bad. And we really like Malik Washington as a hold as well. As far as drops, you can definitely drop Burks. I know it's hurt. It's painful. I've been there. It's okay. You can drop Parkinson. You can drop Burton if you need to make space. You don't have to. Right? Those are really the main guys you could drop. Overall team grade today. If we don't have to flex anybody, this team's great, but we do. And that makes me feel like B flat range.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
B plus. He says they also have a 5-man taxi. Okay, good to know. Wouldn't change anything. We'll just say you have more ability to stash players longer. And by the way, you don't have to drop anyone unless you want to. On his waivers, though, he does have.
I'm looking through.
Well, would you? Ooh, wow. I would definitely be picking up like Milton, just as a stash.
Yeah, Jordan Travis is also interesting.
Travis is a stash. I like Malik Willis.
That's probably it. I can't see it running back.
There's no other positions I'm really interested in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
it. I can add that to his chalkboard if we want. We said Joe Milton. We said Jordan Travis.
He said rule is 3 QB limit. Oh, is there?
Oh, what?
That's whack.
Why? That's so lame. Why do leagues do that, man?
McCarthy's season has 4, so he's cheating. Brown Hurts from Kincaid has 4, so he's cheating.
Who's McCarthy's season?
You call him out. Chris Hall.
Yeah, this guy has 4. This guy has 5.
He has 3. Yeah, exactly. I'm calling him out. I'm calling him out for you. Send the clip.
Hell, this guy has 4.
Has 4. You pick up that
Bro,
quarterback.
literally everyone has 4.
No. You go pick up the quarterback.
Oh, you can have more using taxi. Okay, yeah, perfect.
Wait, that's perfect. How many...
you can't put Penix on your taxi, but you can put Travis.
No, but you can put Travis. You can put Travis. And what's the window?
Either should be taxi eligible.
Yeah, well, some people only have 1 year, and they consider that last year as a 1. No.
Right. It's possible.
Just depends.
Possible.
I wish they can tell us who's on taxi. Like, I wish they can. Oh, 2 to 3 year taxi, brother. You pick them up. Who's on your taxis then? Let's hope. All right, let's break this down. I'm assuming you have like Polk, Jordan Whittington, Jermaine Burton, Malik Willis on your taxi. You also probably have Jalen Coker on your taxi.
You should definitely be putting Milton and Travis on your taxi.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no draft capital to talk about, but let's start talking about tearing down. It's painful, but it's probably necessary with this team. I mean, look, you could just play this out and go into 2026, but you're probably not winning with Jalen Polk in your flex. So let's look at options here at tearing down. You know, you look at the running back position. I don't even know if you can get Saquon plus, but let's try H.N. and Bucky first.
I feel like we should just go straight to 102 and see who has the 102. I can just start going from
102.
There. Right.
I'd rather not pay that price because that's probably tech consensus. I'd rather get more from like the 103 to the 105.
Okay, sure.
But Bucky, HN, I'm just gonna say names already that we can tear down to. Jacobs, JT, Brees. These are some tear down options. And
not enough Bucky's on the 102 team, so GG's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's look at that.
What's that on KTC, out of curiosity?
Okay, so Bucky is on team, yeah, it has a 102. Yeah, there's really not a lot of flexibility with this team either.
According to this KTC, Bucky in the 102 is overpriced just by a little bit. So meaning technically you would have to add something small, according to KTC. Not saying you should.
Yeah.
But
well, that's kind of crazy, but if it's possible, then great. I mean, you add, what do you throw?
I'm throwing like something simple like Wandell, JK, like that's the small piece, I think.
Yeah.
Rashad Bateman. I know it's not exciting.
Yeah, Rashad Bateman kind of range, some player like that. I mean, yeah, I'd be comfortable doing a package like that.
So then you get a running back that is in that's still top 5.
And you can trade down from
top 7
if you wanted.
And then you have the 102 to then get another running back or trade down to get more capital. Because essentially we've been telling everyone from the 101, 102 to trade back to like the 5, 6, 7.
This is a toughie. HN. I don't see a deal working out with HN. It'd have to be like HN Hurts. No, it's not possible. Not possible.
It's not gonna be possible with Josh Jacobs.
Really?
Either. At least I don't think so. Let's see. Josh Jacobs. Team? He doesn't. Team 4, young stud, old farts.
What about McBride? Oh, well, we have Bowers already.
There's no wide receivers.
That's not gonna work either.
Jonathan Taylor is on team 6, Orange Peels.
Okay.
Yeah, from Madunze.
It had to be like Taylor 103, just don't like Jonathan Taylor that much, to be honest with you, man. I feel like it'd have to be like Taylor 103.
Yeah,
203.
What about Saquon?
I think we need more. Like, can you get McCaffrey in this as well? JT and Christian McCaffrey? And the 103? And then if, like, what would that say on KTC? That seems like maybe asking too much, but I could be wrong here.
Okay, let me see. Give me a sec.
Yeah. They say the 103 is even with JT. So oh wait, Jonathan Taylor.
The reason I said this reason right here is why I kind of was thinking moving Bowers for Hawk and Rome. Been kicking it around all offseason.
That wouldn't be a trade I get excited about though. I think you're underselling Bowers. If
you're underselling Brock Bowers 100%.
And then you send back a. So if you were to get JT CMC in the 103, you could send back like Charbonnet, you reckon? Charbonnet Coker or something? Something to kind of make them feel a little bit better about it. Charbonnet says alone it's even, so you could try that. Let's hope to God that Breece Hall is our saving grace here. Breece Hall is a great tear down. He's probably my favorite tear down outside of Bucky. Who has Breece Hall? Please tell me there's some flexibility here.
Breece Hall's on team 1. So there is flexibility.
Yeah. This could really work.
A lot.
Yeah. Wow. Tons of flexibility here. And they probably want to tier up. This could really work. So Breece Hall plus like a Nico. Would you be in the range there?
Let me see.
Okay, you're close. Yeah, like I like that deal a lot. If you can go London instead, I'm not opposed to that either, because that gives you the Penix London stack naturally. I don't want to do it with Marvin, but the other way is like Breece 104.
Yeah, that's where I was thinking, Breece 104.
And are we close there when we do that too? Yeah, that's a fair trade, so maybe you could try and stretch it. I mean, anytime you're selling Jahmyr Gibbs, you can stretch it a little bit. And like, for example, you add on Jameson, Benson, something like that. Breece Hall is probably your best bet at a true tear down. Or you can go. You don't even have to use Breece Hall, by the way. I mean, we can go like the 104 and Nico as well instead. Right? 104 plus Nico, that's got to be pretty much the same thing as Breece Hall and Nico. If they want to keep Breece Hall. You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if you can get more. If you can stretch that out, then try. Obviously, like, can you add the 109? What would you need to send if that deal was on the table? Would you need to send, and you know your league better than us, but does you sending Charbonnet get it done? Does you sending Coker, Mooney, you know? I mean, in this deal, can you send Mooney because they have London and they might feel good about that anyway? Can you send Zach Charbonnet in this one? You know, do you need to send Coker? I don't know. What's possible? What is not possible in your league? But yeah, I think Breece Hall is that team in general is like your team to trade with.
Yeah, I'm just going through some other teams, just trying to find different options.
If he was to go the Bowers route, the only one I want to tear down to is Trey McBride. I don't want to go further than that. If I have Brock Bowers, I just don't trust anyone else enough. I think Laporta probably bounces back, but I don't trust anyone outside of McBride and Bowers. That's it. So if I am going to tear down, it needs to be like McBride. Would you do like McBride Jacobs?
Yeah. I'm just not in love with it.
I'm not in love with it either, to be honest. I'm just trying. We add Jalen Waddle into that, and then we send away, again, like one of these. Sharbs, Mooney, Coker. I don't know. Like, what gets them interested?
Yeah, because the further you tear down, the harder it's going to be. So his original thought process was Hawkinson and Rome. Like, that's still not enough. That's not enough.
I think
you're not even getting like a. I mean, yeah, we like Rome, but
no. Bowers and Gibbs don't go that far apart from each other in startup drafts. They really don't. So I mean, let's look at the Hawkinson team. That's definitely not an offer we're going to accept. But if we can go Hawkinson, Rome, 103, and then add again one of these names. That's maybe a bit ambitious. But I don't see another pathway. You're kind of limited with your options on your team, to be honest.
Yeah. The only other thing that I saw that we can maneuver, which we didn't mention, I was just trying to find different ideas as you were doing all those, and the only other one I think of is Saquon. Saquon and the 107
in the Jahmyr Gibbs deal. Right, Saquon and the 107.
So that's what that team has. There's team 11 Saquon. These nuts.
How do you feel about moving off of Jahmyr Gibbs to Saquon and only getting a mid to late first?
Yeah,
because that is probably, you're right, that's probably the price point. But you know what I mean?
I guess it just really
depends. How quickly do you regret that? What if Saquon has a CMC season because of his age and the amount of touches?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's probably the only other option. Am I in love with it? Probably not, but that's just an option, because is that Saquon, and at the 107 we've been seeing Emeka and Buka
right
there. Emeka and Buka, Saquon with Emeka and Buka to the Rams. We can add something else.
Yeah.
Unless you can add, I don't know if you can do a 26 first.
No, you
could. Like another first, but I doubt it.
You could maybe go like the Chuba Hubbard route on top. And like send away again like Zach Sharps. I think that's where I get okay with it, but outside of that I might hold.
Yeah.
But anyway, I really like the Bucky Irving idea we talked about. I really think Breece Hall is the Breece Hall owner, at least, is the route here. You know, we talked about like the 104 Nico Collins type of deal I like. If we're going Bowers, I feel like Trey McBride deals we would like the most.
Yeah.
You want to highlight any? It's 1, 2, 3 already.
Yeah, that's 3 already.
Maybe another Gibbs deal, because that's really where we're trying to go.
Yeah. We can do Gibbs and
the JT one, maybe.
JT, yeah.
I think those are your realistic outcomes. I mean, if you were to tear down twice, let's say you sent Gibbs away for this package, and then you sent Bowers away for this package. Okay, so keep in mind, we're losing Gibbs, Sharbs, Bowers, Mooney. Really, we're losing Gibbs and Bowers. That's the big impact here, and that's massively important. But we add Nico, McBride, Jacobs, Waddle, the 104 and the 109. That would definitely put you in a better competing range right now. But you have less of those premium top-end names but you don't tear down enough to really hurt you in the long run.
No.
It's a little sticky, Kyle. It's a little sticky, but I think those are your options right now, man. And honestly, the other option is you just stick it out and see what this team can be, and reassess in 2026.
And I feel like that might be the best bet because, you don't want to sell these guys. Like, yeah, you want to compete this year. Like, I feel like maybe you're forcing it by trading your guys away because let's just say, sorry, I'm just trying to find your team. Like, a lot of things has to go right to compete. So for you to go out and trade Gibbs, Bowers, and tear down, you get these pieces, but there's still gaps, right? Like you're still hoping for Tyrone to play. Like, listen, you sell Jahmyr Gibbs. Let's say we go with what we said, right? You sell Jahmyr Gibbs, and you get Breece Hall, right? Yeah. What was the Breece Hall deal?
Breece Hall, we had like
let's just say Breece Hall and Nico Collins, right? Let's just say you get Breece Hall and Nico Collins. Your RB2, Tyrone Tracy, they dropped another running back. Rashee Rice is still suspended for 4 games. Darnell Mooney becomes nothing. Jalen Coker doesn't become anything. But yeah, you got Nico Collins now.
Well, that obviously helps, but
it does help. I'm not saying it doesn't help, but like I'm just saying,
if you're not able to get a haul and a tear down, you might be best off holding and thinking about 2026. But if you can get some of these hauls and a tear down, I don't hate the idea of pulling the trigger. I think specifically if you can do the combo of Brock Bowers tear down to McBride and then a Gibbs tear down to Breece plus, that could really change the trajectory of this team. But be patient, don't force it. And
let us know if you have any last minute questions. Kyle, obviously the floor is yours. We want to make sure that you ask all the questions that you possibly can, but
we want to make sure you feel good.
Yeah, as you're doing that, I'll let you know 72 hours as of just like everyone else, 72 hours until you receive your customized playbook with all information we did build here for you today. But thank you so much. We really appreciate the support, and we'll wait for that last cue.
Yeah, please let us know if you have any questions, man. Anything we didn't cover well enough. If you guys are out there watching the stream and you want your team reviewed, you can become an annual Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. You get the review, you get our rookie report, you get the playbook, you get all the premium tools on the website. He says, is there any options out there for the team that has Puka?
Let's see.
I don't see, like, I can only speak for myself, but if I have Puka Nacua, I'm not willing to, like, spend a bunch of money okay, so think about a startup. Jahmyr Gibbs might be the 112 in a Superflex startup. Puka Nacua might be the 201. Some people might draft Puka Nacua over Jahmyr Gibbs in a startup. So the most you're really getting here is a straight swap if you go from Gibbs or Bowers. I don't think you're really going to be able to make a true impactful trade. It's like, well, do I try and tear down from Amon-Ra to Puka? Well, a lot of people already have Puka Nacua ahead of Amon-Ra, so it's just not going to work. He says, I don't want him, but that's the team with the best wide receiver room.
Right.
Puka Nacua, yeah. Right. Yeah, you're saying, okay, right. So if like you're to tear down, honestly, no. If I'm tearing down, I want Nico or London and the pick. I don't want to rely on Marvin, a what if, which he should be great. You're not going to be able to get Puka. Like if you try and get Puka Nacua, you're not going to get a first round pick and Puka Nacua.
You're not going to get exactly. Think of it as the startup, like Zach said.
Yeah.
Gibbs, let's just say 108, Puka Nacua 111. But Nico Collins is really the 208 in a startup. Drake London is really the
Drakes. Yeah. I mean, look, you could add Marvin in here. I just would rather have the security of what Nico and London have already shown us. But yeah, that's the only other possibility I can think of. Personally, I can't think of another one. He says, I love me some Drake low-key.
Awesome.
Drake as in new album Drake, or as in Drake as in Drake London?
Have you seen that video of him in the crown? with the drone?
No.
There's like he's in the Crown in Sydney at the penthouse.
Oh, is that where he throws the sandal?
Yeah, he throws a sandal. That's there.
That's fair. That's funny. I have seen that. I didn't know what that was from. That's in Sydney.
Yeah.
Wow, that's hilarious. But yeah, unfortunately, your league is a little bit too like filtered to get much more creative than this. But we do appreciate you, my friend. All the other people out there, like Hap and John Perry, check your messages on the Flock site. You currently have offline reviews, and there's no problem if that's what you're looking for. As far as web, we'll get to yours on our next stream. We just don't have the time today, unfortunately. But we do appreciate you signing up. We'll get you on the next stream. Kyle says, I appreciate it, bros. I've been struggling for a minute. I'm hoping that this is going to help. And, of course, feel free to come back to the stream, and we'll have some conversations. But that's it for today, guys. We appreciate you big time. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the support. I did just drop a video with updated rookie rankings, so go check that out. And we'll see you guys very soon. Nothing but love.
Love.